idle conditions, if we jump in, we can take a look at this parameter here called air per cylinder estimated. We can see this value right here. We can translate this into a grams per second value. What we'll find here on a 4-cylinder engine, we should be about 4 to 5 grams per second worth of airflow estimation coming from our VE values here. If we are seeing about that much, if we translate this, and right now it's at 0.12, if we translate this value into a grams per second, and we're right about 4 to 5 grams per second, that means that the VE values here at idle are represented and estimated accurately. And then in that case, if we're seeing that we need to go here and add a couple percent of fuel, we know that the airflow model's proper, so we know the air mass is estimated here correctly. We know the target air fuel is correct, so air mass divided by target air fuel gives us fuel mass. That would mean that converting the fuel mass into an injector pulse width has an error somewhere, and we need to correct it, which means then we have something wrong in the injector data. Converting a fuel mass to a pulse width comes from programming our injector data. That specific error at idle would likely come from the latency table or the dead time table values. So let's look at this real quick. What we can do here is we know we're at approximately 920, 930 RPM, and we're finding we're at 0.12 airflow estimated, air per cylinder estimated. I have the calculator open from our training course. You can go ahead and look in the training course folder. You'll find this specific calculator. It's the cylinder air mass calculator. I'm going to type in the speed that I'm operating at, 920 RPM. The airflow, the estimated air mass in grams per cylinder is 0.12. The number of cylinders is 4. We're seeing the estimated air mass here is approximately 4. It's 3.68. So that's going to tell me that I'd like to be in idle conditions right around 4 to 4.5 maybe grams per second. That's going to tell me that I probably don't need to touch my latency value, but I need to go in and tweak and adjust my VE value for my table. It needs to get a little bit higher. If we saw a value here of 0.14, that would give me about 4.29, 4.3 grams per second. That would be about the accurate amount of airflow representation for the air coming into the engine. If we had a mass airflow sensor, we could validate and check this and compare what it's estimating from airflow to what it's measuring in airflow. That is another alternate method to do that calibration process. But for right now, what I'm going to do here is just try to get my estimated air mass, my VE values, to express 0.14 grams per cylinder. That's the value that we're seeing right here. So we're going to go ahead and bump our values up right here. It's telling us we need to go up a little bit. So I'm going to go in here and let's just go ahead and bump this up. Since it's showing here that we need at about 5%, if I multiply my values here by about 5%, so we'll do shift asterisk 1.05, that's multiplying by 5%. 1.05 is multiply. If we do that, if we raise these values up, we should find here that the air per cylinder estimated goes up, maybe gets a little bit closer to 0.13, and notice now my fuel correction here is coming back to close to 0. Ideally, we'd like to see our fuel correction at 0. If it's plus or minus 2-3% at whatever operating range you're at, that means that your air and fuel model is pretty close. Everything is nailed down. So we're seeing right now we're at approximately 0. We're not going to get any better than that. So we used the airflow estimation here from the table. We ran it through the calculator. We know we need about 4 to 5 grams per second, approximately 4-cylinder engine operating about 900 RPM. That'll give us a transcribed about 4 to 5 grams per second in terms of our value right here. We have our VE values as a reasonable airflow estimation. The air lied in our airflow side and not in our fuel modeling. So if, let's just say that in this case, this was showing that it was 0.13, 0.14 grams per cylinder. So we knew the airflow estimation was pretty accurate, about 4 to 5 grams per second at idle. And it was showing that it was lean. So we know the airflow was correct, but it was lean. That would point to having to jump in here and adjusting our dead time value. Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here. And you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.